Yo, I'm Bob. Totally blind since birth into Star Wars, talking about Season 3, Episode 8 of The Mandalorian on Disney+. 24th chapter of the show overall, as well as the Season 3 finale. This one's The Return. Spoilers ahead, watch it before listening to my thoughts. Jumping right in, you were warned. Yeah, it's been about a month since this episode has premiered, and I caught COVID, so that distracted me from filming this thing. I had a failed root canal, so that distracted me from filming this thing. So, finally getting around to filming the episode, and I really liked the battle to retake Mandalore. I think the return, in terms of the fight scenes and stuff alone, I really did enjoy what we got. I liked how Din started the episode out weaponless, and he had to rely on hand-to-hand combat as he was building up an arsenal. So that was an interesting turn of events for him. I actually thought we were going to see Gideon mocking and torturing him for a little bit, and they'd have to break into the council chamber there and rescue him. But nah, he freed himself right off the bat. And the things that man can do with a vibroblade. According to the audio description track, he threw it at a commando, hit him in the throat, and sent him plummeting. That was awesome, I think. It was one of my favorite moves in the episode. And those Imperial commandos, they are armed to the teeth. They got blasters, they got those electro batons, they got vibroblades, of course, they got jetpacks. So Din was gradually building himself up an arsenal from scratch as he made his way to Gideon. I loved seeing R5-D4 hacking into the computers and trying to shut down the barrier shields. So it was awesome seeing him back. I can't wait until he comes out in the Vintage Collection. He's going to make an awesome droid to own. Although I wish he had as many accoutrements as the Black Series version. He doesn't really have too much in terms of all of his little bells and whistles. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess. In terms of Gideon in this episode, I absolutely love this character, and I'm kind of hoping he's still around. I'll get to that in a few minutes. So his plan to clone an army of himself, that doesn't surprise me at all. He is very arrogant. He is also unhinged in one aspect, you know, cloning yourself, trying to imbue these clones with the Force. It was really interesting when he was telling Din his big bad master plan. And of course, Din put the kibosh on all the clones that we know of. I love the fight scene with Gideon, and I loved all of the battle features his Beskar Dark Trooper suit boasts. I mean, he's got a flamethrower, he's got wrist missiles, he has an extendable electro staff that he can use. I think he has... He might have a wrist blaster, or he might have actually wielded a regular blaster. But, man, this thing would make an awesome action figure as a deluxe or something like that. He's got the fiber cord whip or lariat or whatever you want to call it. Just quite a few amazing accessories that this Beskar armored Gideon would hopefully and potentially come with. Just a really cool moment when he just started wailing on poor Din with those fists. And then, of course, you get to see the Praetorian Guard coming in there. As I stated in the last Mandalorian episode review, they would make a fantastic 4-pack in the Vintage Collection. The 3 that we saw wielding the Electro Bacento, the Chain Whip, and the Arbor Blades. Yeah, but we could also get that 4th variation we never got in the Vintage Collection if we got a 4-pack wielding the Vibro Volge as well. Or Volge. I think I've heard it pronounced 2 different ways. I mean, they weren't in this episode, that 4th variation, but boy, I would love that variation that we never got. As well as Imperial commandos in Beskar armor with all of the bells and whistles packed in with them. I liked seeing the other Mandalorians in action in this episode as well. You had Simon Kassianides as Axe Woves in that light cruiser there. I wish we could have seen a bit more of the TIE bombers wreaking havoc on the cruiser, but I mean, Axe Woves had to survive. I actually thought he was going to bite it in this episode. I didn't think he was going to be able to get out of the cruiser because TIE bombers, I mean, they've got concussion missiles and, you know, their proton bombs and all that. I did not think this cruiser was going to make it to Gideon's stronghold. Well, I guess it kind of didn't, but good old Axe Woves, he got the heck out of there in time, jetted out, which is cool because I really like his character. I loved seeing Katee Sackhoff as Bo-Katan wielding the Darksaber one last time, as the old Star Wars trailer announcer voice would say, pertaining to the VHS tapes. I liked seeing Emily Swallow as the armorer, deflecting blaster bolts with her Beskar gravity hammer, and Casca Reeves there with those knee rockets. That was a really cool move that she used. I can't remember which one of them did it, but one of them blasted a commando out of the air and he just smashed into one of his buddies. I think that might have been Bo-Katan, but then again, it could have been Casca Reeves. Lots of Mandos kicking Imperial Commando butt in this episode. I really wish we could have seen more action with the TIE interceptors and bombers, though. I was kind of hoping for a bit of a dogfight in space, but I mean, maybe we'll get that in the future. So the interesting part of the episode was when Gideon bought it. I mean, I really didn't see him making it out alive. I mean, you have Bo-Katan joining the fray there with Din and Grogu. They'd already beaten the Praetorian Guard, and the Darksaber has been crushed, so bye-bye to the Darksaber. You were enjoyed. That's a really cool weapon. We really do need an unignited Darksaber hilt at some point in action figure accessory form, by the way. So yeah, no more Darksaber. As for the fate of Gideon, well, spoilers ahead if you've not read the X-Wing books from the Expanded Universe novels. Pause the video, go read them. If you don't care, that's cool too, but yeah, coming up. So I'm thinking of Isard from the X-Wing book. She cloned herself, had her a nice little decoy clone to bite the dust for her, but the clone survived. And I'm kind of wondering if Gideon possibly did that. Because, I mean, I guess it would have taken a long, long time to grow these clones. Maybe the clone didn't know he was a clone. I don't know, though. If this was Gideon's final appearance, oh, Giancarlo Esposito, you will be missed. You will be greatly missed. This is one of my favorite bad guys in Star Wars. He just kills when he's on screen every time. I think all these celebrities do. But I love me some villains, and this guy he was one of my favorite characters. I imagine the Dark Trooper armor sporting a cape was pretty freaking snazzy. So yeah, maybe Gideon survived. I'm thinking not, but you never know. I was expecting to see the Shadow Council in the episode at the very end, but no season cliffhanger ending. Everything was kind of wrapped up in a nice little bow. I like what they're hopefully leading into. You had Din visiting Carson Teva on a Delphi base, and he's going to be doing the bounty hunter thing, tracking down Imperial remnants. So various warlords and things like that, I guess. I would love to see some folks from the Expanded Universe at some point, like maybe Warlord Zinj, Admiral Dala, characters like that. Possibly Isard herself showing up. That would be really cool. Just interesting characters. But yeah, he's going to be doing that. I loved that we got IG-11 back. We get to go back to Navarro. We get to see Grief Karga, portrayed by Carl Weathers, and we get IG-11, thanks to the Anzellans, and Din commandeering that. assassin droid head there. So interesting that he's back as the new Marshal. I loved him in season 1, so it's cool that he's back in some form or another here. And awesome that Taika Waititi is voicing him. So yeah, the episode is all wrapped up. You got Din in his little cabin there with Grogu, and Grogu's playing with frogs, and the episode ends. I thought we were going to get a post-credit scene, maybe with Thrawn. But I mean, you know, it ended where they thought it should end, and it almost kind of made me feel like this might serve as a series finale. I don't think it will, but I mean, Din is probably going to come back in Dave Filoni's Star Wars movie. It may or may not be called Heir to the Empire, according to, you know, so-and-so on the internet who heard it from such and such, who got it from I don't know who. I liked the season pretty well. I do wish we could have gotten a scene with the Shadow Council in the episode and some more action with the TIEs, the bombers, and the interceptors, but I really liked it. Thought we might see the Mythosaur, but he just stayed asleep when Ragnar finally got to be, you know, participating in the ceremony there. I was afraid something was going to come up out of that water there, but good for Ragnar that didn't happen. So, yeah, everything kind of ended all happily, and I'm not sure what's next. I cannot wait to see what they're working on in terms of the Imperial Remnant plot, though. Had a blast. So I guess the writer's strike is going to be pushing a lot of stuff back, which is understandable. So I guess that'll do for my thoughts on Mandalorian Season 3. I got to go back and rewatch the first 2 seasons. Maybe do some reviews about those, because I didn't have a YouTube channel when they were airing, so that'll be fun at some point. Till next time, guys, may the Force be with you.